Hello again, everyone. This is Bionic Slime, your online voice for reviews of your choice. Welcome to BS Reviews. Today's review is actually a movie review. I'm reviewing the film known as Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is brought to you by Warner Brothers Studios and was directed and written by Zack Snyder. It stars Emily Browning as Baby Doll, Abby Cornish as Sweet Pea, Jenna Malone as Rocket, Vanessa Hudgens as Blondie, Jamie Chung as Amber, and Oscar Isaac as Blue Jones. The plot of Sucker Punch. After a horrific ordeal involving her wicked stepfather and the accidental murder of her sister, Baby Doll, which is only what she's been called by in the movie, is committed to a mental institution where she is horribly mistreated by pretty much everyone there. And to make matters worse, she is about to be scheduled to be lobotomized within 3 days. To escape this nightmarish place, she retreats into a mental fantasy place where she recreates the institution into a type of old-style brothel, and everyone in the institution is there in a different version or format. Even though this is still a fantasy, Baby Doll has hopes of escaping this facility and convinces several other girls to help her in order to find certain objects, 5 to be exact, in order to plan out their escape route and leave the facility, hopefully all in one piece. To do this, they retreat into another weird, bizarre fantasy world where they try to acquire the items in the most outlandish, weird, bizarre scenarios and situations, including dragons, robots, steampunk, Nazis, big guns, swords, samurais, and every other weird thing they can imagine as the girls try their best to hopefully escape this nightmare. Review of the plot. For those of you who don't know this about Zack Snyder, the director, one, he's an awesome director, but two, this is actually the first time he's had a crack at his own material. I mean, this is the first time he's actually done something original. If you follow his film career, everything he's done up until this point has been an adaptation of someone else's work. I mean, he did the remake of Dawn of the Dead, made movie adaptations of the 300 graphic novel, and then the Watchmen graphic novel. Everything he's done has been someone else's work. This has been the first time he's really had the chance to do something that's personal, original, and unique to his own talents. And I gotta say, I really don't think people are giving this film enough credit, because every reviewer I've read, either online or in the paper, has been taking huge monkey shits on this film's credit, and I feel it's very uncalled for. I admit it's a really weird, bizarre concept for a film, but I think that's actually what makes it so fascinating. There are always going to be films that are striking a different chord with different audiences. And this is one of those films where you have to either absolutely love it and get the concept, or you just think it's ludicrous and just totally hate it. Because this movie is all about just having a fantastical, free-based fantasy adventure. It's basically just freedom, and that's a very important thing in this film's story and in how to describe the film to someone else. It doesn't have to make complete, total sense, but does the film make it work? And yes, it does. Had they just stuck with the girls being locked in the nut house trying to get out, it would have been terribly boring. Giving this whole fantasy element gives a very kind of dangerous but exciting new way to look at things in film. I mean, we've all wondered what people actually think of each other, how they see things, because everyone views things differently. Whereas this film takes it into a whole new level in terms of, psychological aspects, but also the film aspects. And that's one of the things I loved about this film, was that it's embracing of the weird and just having fun with it. Best way to describe these fantasy sequences: orgasmically incredible anime-like explosions of imagination. That's the best way I could explain it, because there is some really weird shit in this movie. I mean, there are sequences where you have these girls with samurai swords fighting shogun robots with chain guns, and then you got dragons, steampunk Nazi robots, and robots on trains with bombs and jetpacks. So ludicrous sounding. It just sounds bizarre and absurd, and it is. And the movie just embraces it. And I really actually appreciate that sense of honesty. I get sick and tired of movies trying to present you with a different image and then saying at the end, oh, it's something else, tricking you. Whereas here, this movie's upfront about its mental psychosis, and it didn't try to hide anything. I mean, when you see these sequences of when the girls fighting dragons and robots and monsters, there's no real point to it. There's none. It's just to see cool ass shit happening on screen. It's just to see that. Just like an anime. Hot girls wearing barely covered clothing with big guns and swords fighting the most impossible odds. It may not be totally sane, it may not be totally sensible, it may not even be needed for how they handled the approach to this movie. But they were totally honest with it, and they just embraced the inner awesomeness of this movie. This movie's like one giant awesome joke, like you see on a motivational fake poster, or some awesome joke like Chuck Norris and Darth Vader going into a bar and exploding because it could not contain the awesomeness. That's what this movie is. One big giant awesome joke. And it's fan-frickin-tastic. Review of the characters. As I said, this movie is all about just hot girls doing incredibly awesome stuff. And I gotta say, they really got a good cast of excellent actresses who really played these characters, to the perfect visual degree. Acting is another story, and I guess it's kind of hard to explain, but it's just like these girls and the characters really didn't have anything in terms of personality. We knew their mission, we knew their desire, their purpose, but other than that, we didn't know that much deeper about them. Some of them did it better than others, and some of them did worse than others. Emily Browning as the lead was okay in the beginning. I liked her, but as we progressed, she really didn't grow as a character. The character Baby Doll just had a pretty much one direct path, and nothing new came of her personality. We got a lot more with Sweet Pea, played by Abby Cornish. Abby Cornish was very good. She was actually the only character who actually maintained a personality or some kind of semblance of an identity throughout the whole film. Worked well with the group. She had good chemistry, I think, with everyone. I also like Jenna Malone, who played the sister, Sweet Pea Rocket. I liked her a lot. I think she was, again, one of the other characters who got much more of a personality, or at least they tried to. Again, they kind of failed in the personality department here, especially like with characters Blondie and Amber, played by Vanessa Hudgens and Jamie Chung. They were good actors. I mean, they acted the part well, but there was just not that much of a part to really act out. Oscar Isaac, the villain who played Blue Jones, he was freaking awesome. I mean, this guy was just, you could feel the douchiness oozing from him. You got so convinced about how awful and horrendous this character is that every time you saw him, expected things to get worse and worse, and he pulled it off magnificently. He was a great character actor who just really got this part down, and he did his job. You wanted to hate this guy, and he did not disappoint you in any way, shape, or form. Via the cinematography and the music. This was easily the crescendo, the tour de force. This was the everything on top of everything of this movie. This is where everything shined so perfectly awesome that I don't care if you hate this movie or not, you can't deny how bitchin' this movie was with cinematography and music. In the very beginning, you could tell this movie was shot with a very specific image, and it had a very specific and individualistic perception from the director. You could tell this was a unique view, a unique visualization, and it really made the movie stand out much more. You could tell there was something original, something creative, something different, something we haven't seen before, and the music was used in incredibly amazing effectiveness. I mean, there are mixed tracks of rappers with Queen music and, old music and new music, and it just works so amazingly well. I have to get the soundtrack to this film. This soundtrack works just as importantly to the story and the film as the soundtrack for Tron Legacy did when Daft Punk did it. It's that freaking good. And I just was blown away at the incredible sense of the visuals here. Even with all the slow camera shots when you see the girls fighting the monsters and shit, it's all very overdone, but it's just done in such a visually astounding way that you can't help but be sucked in by the visuals. It draws you in, it kicks you in the ass, and the feeling never goes away. Because every time a new sequence comes, you're just taken back into the amazing embrace of those phenomenal visuals. It was just an amazing ride every time you saw them going to this fantasy world. It got boring, never got overdone, and it never got tiresome. It just got more awesome with each time you saw it. Flaws about the film. Like I said, I did feel that they were really lacking in the personality department with the characters. We knew their mission. We did not know who they were. We didn't really get much of an identity from any one of these girls. Some of them tried, but none of them actually succeeded to the point where I should say that they are really honest, well-made characters. I also feel that the device and how they use these animation sequences kind of seems weird, because what happens is Baby Doll will listen to music and she dances. And when she hears the music and starts dancing, that's when the sequence begins. When it ends, then she's done dancing. So I gotta wonder, when you're seeing these sequences, what the hell is everyone else doing? I mean, what is she honestly doing while she's dancing when this is going through her head? And you're already in a psycho fantasy in the beginning of the film anyway, so it's just like, what the hell's really going on while she's dancing? It's not a really big thing, but it's something that the film presents that you kind of have to question, or at least look at from a different perspective, and not just take automatically, which unfortunately this movie does ask you to do a lot. Final wrap up. Sucker Punch is a weird ass movie. I will not deny that for 1 second. It's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. A lot of people are going to be scratching their heads, including myself, and they're just not going to get the concept. I mean, hell, I've seen it, and I still don't know if I got the concept. But whatever the concept is, I like it. I like what I saw, I enjoyed it, and I got a huge freaking kick out of it. This movie embraces imagination, creation, and freedom. That's the main thing you gotta remember. This movie is all about the freedom to put what you want on screen and see how other people react to it. This is a unique and personal, individualized dream of a director who's wanted to do this for many, many years. And I appreciate his embracing of the freedom and imagination that this movie goes. I mean, this takes you to a whole new universe of visual, sound, and just everything. It's just an awesome orgasm of visual, audio, and epic proportions that knows it's weird and crazy and kind of off its rocker, but it does it in such amazing, full, blunt force that you can't help but get sucked into this movie and appreciate its nuttiness for what it is. And that's a damn good ride. And that's what this movie is. A damn good ride. The weak characters of personalities and the weird use of how the dream sequences get started is a little troubling, but all in all, I was too busy watching the hot girls kick the crap out of dragons and robots to really worry that much about this movie. Bottom line, I give Sucker Punch 4 stars out of 5 stars. Well, that's all for now. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews. Thank you all for listening, and goodbye for now.